Hi everyone, it's Wirt. Today I bring not one, but 3 Warthogs ported from Halo 3 into Bonelab. I have distinct memories from my teenage years where my friends and I would sort of try to imagine where our favorite game franchises might be in the future. And we all shared a common dream of Halo in virtual reality. Now, we have VR, and we are even getting VR games with Halo mods. We're almost there. Plenty of maps and weapons, but not a whole lot of vehicles. So, when I first saw the go-kart in my playthrough of Bonelab, a VR game marketed to be a modding playground, I knew what I had to do. I've begun porting my favorite land vehicles from Halo, starting with the Halo 3 Warthog and a couple of its variants. The traditional Warthog with the mounted chain gun works as you'd expect. You can drive it, ride in the passenger seat, and even hop in the gunner seat and start blasting. The turret also works as you'd expect. You crouch to enter its seat just like any vehicle seat, then the turret just points where you aim. It's a little bit difficult to see though, since you can't control your height while seated, unfortunately. Also, I couldn't quite get the ammo to be infinite, so instead there is a custom magazine that uses a ridiculous amount of medium rounds. For the reload, I imported the sound from reloading the rocket launcher. Speaking of which, all the sounds you'll hear coming from the Warthog are straight out of Halo 3. From the sound of the turret firing, to the sounds of the engine starting and stopping, and more. Also, I got the chain to kind of act like you'd expect. It kind of bends and stretches as you aim, and is, while floppy, like a chain. In the Halo games, Bungie achieves this effect with an animation controlled by where the turret is aiming, and in that controlled environment, they got away with using just this one bone. Since Bonelab is largely physics-based, that isn't going to be good enough here. So I've re-rigged it and defined a bunch of joints to appropriately limit each segment's angular movement. Next up, my personal favorite Warthog variant, the Troop Transport Warthog. Bungie was nice enough to make the troop portion of the Warthog just another attachment, same as the turret. So adding this mostly involved setting up colliders and the 3 passenger seats that the troop variant adds. Oh, and this is a good time to point out that all of the seats and foot positions are set to match the seat and foot markers that Bungie used in Halo 3. You get this elevated view in the passenger seat that gives you a lot more freedom where you aim. Lastly, we have the turretless variant, which is obviously just like a regular Warthog, but without the turret. You can just load a bunch of junk into the back, hop in the driver's seat, and then be on your merry way. Alright, so not everything here is perfect. If you look closely here, you'll notice that the wheels kind of just rotate however they feel like. That's on account of a limitation with the scripts that Bonelab uses to define a vehicle. Turns out the size of the wheels has a pretty significant impact on how the resulting vehicle accelerates. So I have these smaller wheels that you can't see that are actually the wheels that control the vehicle. I prioritized on making the driving sort of feel like how a Warthog should, so to me, anyway, this little visual hiccup is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Hopefully there's a better way to do this. If there is, I'll work that into an update at some point. Also, Bungie could do some pretty cool things with their engine, like these texture animations on the Warthog dash, which include a working speedometer, and this animation that has the chain feeding rounds up into the gun. All features I'd love to include at some point in a future update of this port. Another limitation of the existing scripts is that there is only support for a front axle. The Warthog has separate front and rear split axles, allowing for 4-wheel steering. I couldn't find a simple way to achieve this effect, so maybe when the modding SDK officially supports vehicles, or when there's better support for script extension, there might be a way to get this working in an update as well. Despite the limitations I've described throughout this video, modding Bonelab has been a really fun exercise. There is already a lot you can do, and I don't think I'm done with it yet. Next up, I'll likely do a couple more of these vehicle ports. I'd love to get the Gosshog working, which would require some custom projectile work as well as I don't know what to make this thermal display functional. What else would you guys like to see? More land vehicles? Props? A whole Warthog run? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and special thanks to blockchat, who not only practically wrote the book on adding vehicles to Bonelab, and even used another Warthog as an example, but personally helped me out when I couldn't get the wheels on mine working for some reason. Bonelab modding community gets an A+. That's going to be it for now. As always, download links are in the description. If you appreciate what I'm doing, remember to leave the video a like or even share it with someone who you think may be interested. And if you want to see more, remember to subscribe. I'm WordAC. This has been another mod release video. See you in the next one.